How many lights do you see?
There are 4 lights! There are 4 lights! There really are. There's 4 lights up there.
There really are. There really are.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Good Luck High Five. Oh, fine. Whatever episode this is. Hold on.
Just welcome.
Just welcome.
Welcome to episode
555. Yay. Ooh, 555.
Wow, 555.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This podcast is for you if you like Magic the Gathering, if you are Magic the Gathering, or wish to become Magic the Gathering one day. We're glad you're here.
Wow, Maria, that's the first time that you've done that part. Maybe ever?
I know.
It was really weird.
I'm feeling very strange right now. But
You
now
did great, though.
You have to do my part now.
Oh, I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
And I'm one of your hosts, Megan.
Wait a second.
Hold on. This episode's off to a great start.
I'm one of your hosts, Megan.
And I'm one of your hosts, Maria. Oh, thank God. There we go.
Woo.
The
And in
world
case you-
has righted itself.
Yeah, in case you couldn't see at the start of this video, we were doing the bit from Star Trek because you could see, I now adjusted my camera, but there were 4 lights above me.
Yeah,
Wait,
it was
there were
very good.
there were 5 lights above me.
Yeah, we're recording remote this week. If you listen to the upkeep, you already know that. Thank you for being amongst our favorite children. But Megan's in Rhode Island this week, so we're recording from Rhode Island, and from my home here in Minneapolis, I've got my cat, Mr. Lear, is here hanging out with me.
He's so cute.
I don't think he's going to be as vocal as Molly, though. Something tells me.
Yeah, he's already been much more quiet.
He's just
He went
chilling.
through the entire upkeep without saying meow.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. So I'm sorry, everybody. You won't get to hear Molly's meows, but you'll get to hear Lear's silence. So
Molly has never been awake for 10 minutes and not meowed in her entire lifetime, as far as I know.
she has a lot to say.
She really does.
And we have a lot to say on this episode as well.
That's
How do you
right.
like that segue.
Solid. Real
Thanks.
nice.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to be talking this week about data for Limited in Wilds of Eldraine. It just hit Arena last week. People are diving into the format. They want to know what's what, how to play it, how to do well at it, how to win. And this weekend is actually the Arena Open. So this will be a great primer for you going into that event.
Yeah, it's time to know what this draft format is all about. And though I have been playing it, I have declined to look at the data so that Maria can reveal to me some of its surprising aspects.
I know. I'm so excited to let Megan in on all of the dirty details as well as you, because it's quite shocking sometimes. And in this case, I mean, it's not shocking. I'll say that.
It's not. It is solidly not shocking.
Sometimes we look at it and we're like, oh yeah, I expected that or whatever. But this time I looked at it and I was like, what? Excuse me?
What?
So yeah, I'm really excited to share all that data with you and hopefully get you ready for the Arena Open. If you've never played in one of those, they're super fun. You do sealed on day 1. If you make it to day 2, you draft and you can win up to $2,000. It's just a good time.
It is a good time.
Limited. You know, we don't have Grand Prix anymore, except the one coming up in Vegas next weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, basically is a Grand Prix for Limited. So
exactly. Oh, that's also very exciting.
I mean, I was when they announced it. I was like, this is very expensive, but also I'm excited that we are getting basically a limited Grand Prix.
Yeah.
You know? So
absolutely.
Those are my 2 thoughts.
Before we get started, we have some people to thank. First and foremost amongst them are you, the listeners and patrons of this show.
Yes, thank you so much to everybody who supports us. You can be one of those cool people, our sweet Good Luck High Five family, by going to patreon.com/GLHF Magic. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to our super awesome Discord server full of the best people in Magic hanging out and talking about our favorite game.
That's right.
Such a deal.
Thank you so much this week to Jason for increasing their pledge.
Yeah, not only can you get a sweet shout out on the episode by becoming a new patron, you can also increase your pledge like Jason, who now gets a sweet pun on their name from Megan.
Jason, you are racing to the top of our list of cool people.
Hey, Jason, if I was stuck at a summer camp and you came and murdered me, I wouldn't be so sad.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh, yeah, one of these was darker than the other, but it is the start of spooky season.
That's right. Hey, Jason, your mom's scary.
Wow, hot spoilers for the first Friday the 13th.
Wow.
From 1970.
I was going to say like 40 years in the spoiler, 40 years in the making.
I'm going to look at this up. Oh, speaking of like, okay, that's another segue. Friday the 13th, number 1. That's what I'm just Googling. 1980. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I thought for sure it was the 70s. But speaking of shows from the past, we've been talking about X-Files a lot on this podcast recently because Megan's going through her first watch of it.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge X-Files fan and I've loved it for a long time. And it's the 30th. It was the 30th birthday of X-Files the other day.
I know.
I just got so nostalgic.
Happy 30th, X-Files. It's really good. It's really great.
Yeah. It's also going to be Arena's 5th birthday coming up.
Oh, yeah.
On September 27th.
Exciting.
How many birthdays in September?
So many September birthdays. This is just my only current thing to say about X-Files. I haven't watched it in about the past week because I've been out of town and my partner and I watch it together.
Yeah.
But it is wild to me that the writers were not intentionally writing Mulder as like crazy in love with Scully as early as season 2, because he just like, they didn't realize that they were, but he really is.
I mean, look, Mulder and Scully invented shipping. They invented it.
But specifically season 2, it's just like, it's like not even, you're not even like, it's not like a will they won't they in season 2. It's just like, oh, he's big in love with her.
He's down bad, as the kids like to say.
What?
That's a great one. I like that one. Down bad.
Down bad.
Yeah, meaning you've like really got it bad for somebody. That's a
really good. That's a fun
really
phrase
like
to say.
Oh, I'm not always here for what the slang the kids are bringing in, like Riz. I don't think I'm 100% on board with that.
I'm not going to say that.
I'm definitely not on board with glizzy, meaning hot dog. That one I can throw out the window.
Yeah.
But down bad, I give that one a thumbs up.
Absolutely. Oh, he's down bad.
This is a podcast where we rate teen slang. Oh my God. So thank you everybody for being patrons. Patreon.com/GLHF Magic, where you get not only magic information, but also a lot of other stuff that you didn't ask for.
That's right. We were still right in the middle of talking about patrons.
Yes, we were.
when we took this week's X-Files segue.
Yeah.
Thank you as well to Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF, the best place to go if you want to buy cards in a way that supports our segues.
Yes, absolutely. You can go to cardkingdom.com/GLHF, and every purchase you make supports one segue on Good Luck High Five.
That's right. Or one tangent. You can be supporting one tangent or one segue.
Absolutely. Either or. You can buy Wilds of Eldraine there. It's available right now. They have great customer service, super fast shipping. If you want to sell some of your old draft chaff that you don't want anymore, you can turn it into store credit, which will give you a better return on your investment there, and buy some new stuff if you're looking for singles for Commander. If you like shiny cards like me, Card Kingdom is a place that we recommend you do your magical shopping. Everybody, it's time to play the randomizer. Before we dive into the data today, we're going to take a pit stop here at Funtown and hit the random button on scryfile.com and try and guess what the card does based on the art alone.
How do you like this one, Maria?
Megan has texted me this piece of art. I got to make it big here. Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at this card. This guy can get it.
Yeah. Are you down bad for this angel?
I'm down bad for this angel. This is what I'm looking at is, I don't know, one of the most gratuitously photographed, painted magic angels that's a man in the history of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Looking like he's posing on the cover of a romance novel. This angel is chest out, fully upper half nude, wings spread, golden halo over a sunset sky, holding a golden spear and wearing a great like leather skirt.
Yeah, and has some great like wind tossed hair.
Oh yeah, the hair looks excellent.
Yeah.
This is definitely a white card, and it's an angel. So I'm gonna call this a card Beefcake Angel. what do I think it's actually called? Like angel, like guardian angel or something, like, because he looks like he's protecting, you know, guardian, good looking guardian angel. It's a 3. This card is a 3/5. Absolutely. There's no question in my mind. This is a 3/5. It is flying. And then you can pay 1 and a white to have damage redirected to this guy instead of your creature.
All right, you know what? There's some it does have an activated ability. Okay, it's called Malik of the Dawn.
Okay, well, it does look like Dawn. I'll give him that.
Yeah. And I looked it up. Malik is like a messenger angel in Judaism.
Oh, okay. So this is Malik of the Dawn.
It may mean messenger, and it also means angel. Anyways, angel.
Got it.
So it's basically Angel of the Dawn. Creature angel is a 2/4 for 2 white.
Oh, it's so close.
It's really close. It obviously has flying, and it has white, regenerate it.
Oh, that's so weird. So this is from Planar Chaos.
Yes.
Which is why it's such a bizarre card that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I feel like I got, part of the way there, 40% maybe.
Yeah,
45.
I think you got pretty close. I would say you got farther. I would say you got like 60.
All right, 60%. I'll take it. All right, here's your card. I didn't want to send it till Meghan till the last minute because the art is so good.
Wow. Okay. This is okay.
Welcome to September.
My guess is that it looks like maybe we are on the deck of a ship.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Or similar. Maybe we're on the Weatherlight, honestly, because this looks like this looks a little like Gerard, and that looks a little like Squee.
And that's Squee down there, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to say that they're on the deck of the Weatherlight. They are fighting the upper half of a skeleton.
Oh God, they're coming for you.
Yes. And you may be wondering, how is the upper half of a skeleton fighting? It's like connected by like weird, like sinewy, like gross looking sinewy stuff.
Yeah.
The same kind of like spidery sinewy stuff has thrown someone off the deck of the Weatherlight in the background. And it also has, it has like an arm, but instead of a hand, it has like an enormous scythe.
Yeah, this is
hand.
Bad news. Bad news.
Exactly. This is very bad news, skeleton. Squee is yelling. Gerard is also yelling.
And they've already like gotten somebody in the back there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they chucked somebody off the Weatherlight. And the skeleton is also yelling. I'm going to say.
I wanted to let you know that the name of this card is a pun.
What?
Yes, you wouldn't expect that from this creepy looking card, but
no, I would not. And now I can't think of like
this is like a story point in one of the books or something like from back in the day.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna call this Chattering Bones. It's not a pun, but it's like the closest thing I can come up with.
All right.
Yeah. Chattering Bones. It's a. I'm going to call it, it's going to be like a 1/1 death touch for 1 and a black skeleton, obviously. And then it's going to have the skeleton ability where it can come back from the graveyard. But only like you can pay 1 and a black and return it from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped, but only if an opponent had a creature die this turn.
Oh, wow. I love it. Well, I mean, I would say you also got pretty close, but this is a bizarre card. I don't know the last time I've seen a card this weird. It is from Tempest. It is called Carrionet. Carrionet is the name of this card.
Wow.
It is 1 and a black for a 1/1 skeleton. I'm going to read you the old text first because I think it's funny. 2 black, remove Carrionet and target creature from the game. That creature's controller may pay 2 to counter this ability. Use this ability only if Carrionet is in your graveyard. So today we call that exile. So you can exile target creature, Carrionet, and target creature unless that creature's controller plays 2. Activate only if Carrionet is in your graveyard. That is a very weird, and I don't think I've ever seen a card that does that kind of thing these days.
Yeah, I have never seen that kind of ability in my life.
And I mean, like, let's hope your opponent can't pay 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 1/1 skeleton. I got that close.
Yeah, you did. You got it was a 1/1 skeleton.
Yeah. I do think I also said it was 1 and a black.
Yeah, you did.
All
you
right.
got the cost
I feel pretty good about that.
Power toughness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a very cool card though.
Yeah. I would never I think that I don't know how many years it would have taken me to come up with this pun.
Yeah.
Like if you had just been trying to get me to guess it with no clues but the art, 6 to 8 years.
Yeah.
I think.
What a bizarre card, and what a great start to the spookiest time of year. And good thing that I've got this skeleton prop with me here at my desk for this carionette. And also, did you only think I had one? No, I have two.
So many skeletons.
I'm going to put them by the microphone, everybody, so you can hear them at home if you're not watching the video. I have so many skeletons in my house. I love
hear them bones.
Yeah, you can hear them bones. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about Wilds of Eldraine Limited, and we're going to dive face first into some data here.
Yeah. All right, Maria.
Yes.
Before I look at any of this,
Yeah.
give me the questions you want me to take my best guess at.
Okay. So what we're going to cover in this, by the way, we're going to talk about the speed of the format. We're going to talk about the best colors to draft. And then we're going to break down the best commons to draft as well as the best commons by color. So what I'm first going to ask you is, we're going to get to this later, a little bit later in our analysis. But how many colors do you think are represented amongst the top 10 best commons in Wilds of Eldraine Limited? You can play along at home as well.
All
with your
right,
guess
I'm going to go with 3.
3. That's a fair guess because we've been having some past sets which have had some colors which are better or worse than others, and some have not cracked the top 10. 3 is a little abnormal, but I would say that's happened in, I think, some of the past sets.
It's kind of been happening recently.
The color balance has been off. I will say this, you're not correct. Do you want to go up or down?
I'll go up. I'll go 4. Wait, no.
Oh.
Do you know what? Wait, I'll go 5.
Oh, 5! The most balanced, perfect set ever existing in the game of Magic the Gathering? Incorrect. It is actually 2.
Oh, no.
2 colors are represented amongst the top 10 best commons in the game based on game in hand win rate from 17lands.com. That means if you draw the card, how likely are you to win the game? There's only 2 colors from this set represented, which shocked me when I looked at this data.
But do you know what? I can guess which colors those are.
Okay.
I will guess which colors those are later.
Okay, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to let you also know we were talking about Simic and hoping that Simic was not the worst color like it's been for so long in draft. And I'm going to let you know that it is not the worst color to draft.
Do you know what? I do feel that. I have been feeling that from it. It is not as bad as it has been.
I will say this, it is the second worst color to draft.
Yeah, that feels correct. That feels correct.
What color pair do you think is worse than Simic in Wilds of Eldraine draft? We're talking 2 color pairs here, everybody. So that's where we're going to start things off. Splashing is a thing in this format, and we'll get into that later. But
okay, this one's a real shot in the dark.
Okay.
I'll admit.
That's fine. That's a hard question.
Yeah, but I'm going to go blue-red.
Blue-red. That is not right, but is among the lower scoring color combinations here in this format. It's actually Azorius, white.
That was going to be my next guess. Like I was deciding between is it an Azorius?
Yes. It is not doing great.
Yeah, Azorius has felt rough every time that I think I drafted it. I don't think I have drafted, actually. I take that back. Every time I've played against it, it's been like, this seems rough.
So we'll get into that more in a second. But first things first, we need to talk about the speed of the format because that's going to inform a lot of the decisions that we make when we're approaching our gameplay and even talking about color pairs and color strength and all that kind of stuff. So when we're talking the speed of the format, we're talking about how fast is a game over? How many turns does it take to kill your opponent dead? And we've got a lovely spread of data here that talks about how fast the various formats have been in comparison to each other. And Wilds of Eldraine Premier Draft, so this is best of 1, matches up exactly with Kaldheim Premier Draft.
Wow.
The exact same game win rate on the play, which is hovering around between 0.52 and 0.53. So you definitely want to be on the play in this format. It is a faster format.
Yeah. But I will say it's it's not quite as fast as other stuff that we've seen recently.
That is very true. Yeah, we have a couple of sets that we've seen recently which are faster than this, so thank God.
Yeah, I'm looking specifically at Phyrexia.
All will be one, yep.
Yep.
And March of the Machine. We're both faster.
Yeah.
So we're not in March of the Machine or Phyrexia All Will Be One territory, but we are in the territory of Call Time, which in my opinion didn't feel too bad as far as what I remember from that set.
No, it did not. All right. Speaking of though, Maria.
Yes.
Because we're talking about Premier Draft.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my secret?
I do want to hear your secret.
I don't really play Premier Draft anymore. I have gone back to traditional.
Wow, Megan's hitting the best of 3 life.
I've been playing my best of 3 life.
You are living your best of 3 life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? That's how it feels. I like it better.
Talk to me more about this change in your life.
So I just realized that like it was, I was just kind of tired of having it count as like a game or, playing games that would be decided by screw or flood.
Sure.
So often.
Yeah.
Right. Like I just realized it's like, oh, I appreciate the shape of a match where sideboarding matters.
Yeah.
Like, did I in my draft care about taking some good sideboard cards? Can I like sculpt a better deck for games 2 and 3, which I feel like one of my strengths has been like the answer is yes, that I feel good about my sideboarding.
I mean, we hear from pros all the time that sideboarding is the number one skill that you need to develop if you want to get better at your limited gameplay in best of 3 matches.
Like it feels good. And like, especially I feel like and it also makes sense of all of these cards that otherwise like are so like spider food, for instance.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's a card that it's like, okay, in Premier, I'm only thinking about, is this a format where I main deck this?
Right.
In this format, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And I would honestly argue that in best of 3, even right now, the answer is yes. But it's like, oh, did I prioritize taking this kind of card so that I had access to more copies of it post sideboard in a game where it would be really good? And I just, like I said, I like the shape of a match. Like I play a lot of matches that go to 3 because it's like, oh, maybe I'll have a great game. And then my opponent has a great game. And then we have like a really nice balanced long game.
Right.
Or yeah, exactly. Or it's like, it makes it feel not so bad when you lose to a bomb because it's like, oh, hey, I win the next game when they don't draw that card. Right. I just am liking it better. That's all.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I feel like this is like a major life announcement.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you so much.
Congratulations on your best of 3. No, I 100% hear what you're saying because it's the authentic experience, right?
Yeah.
If you go and play in a store, you're not playing best of 1 stuff with a hand smoother. That's not how it works. And getting used to the hand smoother too is something that it can be a cold shock when you go to play in store.
It makes it feel like there's also, like there's more decision points about mulliganing that matter.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think best of 3 is truly the superior way to play draft, but I'm also extremely impatient. And so hopping in that Premier queue is really a great way to fulfill my need for serotonin the most quickly, right?
And I also best of 3, you just play 3 matches.
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter your record. So it also, it doesn't lead to the feel bads of like, sometimes you draft a great deck, and in Premier Draft, like you just kind of end up like you get mana screwed 2 games in a row. And then like something like, right. And then you face a big bomb and you're like, well, this deck felt way better than this 1-3 or this 2-3 that I got out of it.
Right.
And so traditional draft, it just feels like that just doesn't really happen. Because no matter what, you're going to play these 3 matches and across all of the sideboarded games and everything, it doesn't like that kind of feel bad for me just doesn't seem to happen nearly as much.
And then the flip side of that is if you draft a bad deck, well, then you're stuck with it for the entire run. And that's a very real thing. Like you're just like, well, I am now in this for 3 matches, no matter what. Yeah, exactly. I didn't sign a prenup. I'm regretting everything.
Yep.
I totally get it. But your speech is actually making me want to go and do a best of 3. So
Like, Maria, do you know what? It's really fun.
all right. I think you might have a convert here.
It's to the point where now I'll do best, like I'll do Premier Draft, or Quick Draft until I hit Platinum.
Yeah.
Just so that I get, like the cosmetics that, like the 2 different cosmetics that you get when you hit Platinum for the month.
Yeah.
And then I'll stop, and that's when I switch to best of 3 and I don't look back.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, everybody, how do you feel about best of 1 or best of 3? Let us know.
That's my rec.
Interested. We got recently a look into the format data about people who play Magic Arena, but that was only constructed formats. So I wish they had released data on limited, because I would just really love, I'm sure best of 3 is way low compared to Premier.
But the thing is, the draft queues, I was like, you would think you would notice it in the draft queue. And the last couple of best of 3 drafts that I've done, it's
instantly fired.
I hit the okay or whatever. And it's I pop in the queue and then it's full and then we start.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong then. Arena, release the data. What are you afraid of? Let us know. The people want to know. I just really do want to know. I'm very interested. Yep. Okay, well, everybody, you heard it here first. Play best of 3. Have a great Arena experience. Have you been liking the format?
I've been really enjoying it.
Yeah, me too. I think it's been really fun.
It's been super fun. I posted my first draft, which was when I was still doing Premiere, because I hadn't hit Platinum yet when I started it.
Right.
I posted, which was a real hot 7-0, because it was absurd.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So, and then in best of 3, I've just had a couple of 2-1s so far.
I've been having a good time, and I think a lot of that is down to the fact that the battlefield, you can click on the little jelly beans, and then you can hit the witch's house, and she's like,
yeah.
And I just really like that.
And Goose Pet. I mean,
the Goose Pet.
Goose Pet is endless joy.
We can't overlook the Goose Pet.
I love Goose.
So let's talk about the color strengths of the format. We already know the format is fast, so that is going to translate into you needing to prioritize lower cost cards to make sure that you don't die or that you can kill your opponent effectively. So I know a lot of people really like a lot of 2-drops in this format, as well as tricks, and we're going to see that played out in the data here. So let's talk about the 2-color decks of the format and how they are stacking up. We already know Azorius is the worst, with a win rate of, at the time of this recording, 50.6%, which is not good.
No.
The most best deck is Boros, red-white,
wow,
at 58.2%. So that's an 8-point spread.
This is me,
the worst of the best,
saying gasp.
Oh, are you gasping right now?
I am gasping.
Do you think, were you under the impression that Boros was a real stinker?
No, I don't know that I thought it was a real stinker, but that was not my guess for the best deck.
Well, I certainly wouldn't have guessed it. If you had only told me that Azorius was the worst, I would not have picked a deck with white in its color to be the best.
I think that I would have, and I'll look at it in a sec. My guess for best would be Golgari, would be black-green.
Yeah, and you are. Let's take a look here. You are almost right. You're almost right, because Golgari is coming in second place.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a couple of days ago, it was in first, only recently knocked out by Boros.
Yeah. It is only 0.2% behind Boros. And that makes sense to me. Golgari feels very strong.
I agree. Golgari has access to some very, very powerful cards in this format. And black being the color that I'm going to highlight here. And in Boros, red being the color I'm going to highlight, because, well, we already know it's not white. Who's putting in the work there?
We already know.
So number 1 is Boros, followed up by Golgari, black-green. Those are the 2 top colors in the format, followed by none other than Rakdos, bringing up third with 57.7%.
Rats.
Where are the rats? You know what I mean? Rakdos, it actually shocks me, is not first, because it has these 2 strong colors that we've just called out, black and red. But somehow Boros and Golgari are beating it here.
Yeah.
Not really sure how that works, but that is what the data says. So those are our top 3.
Yeah.
After Rakdos, we get to Gruul at 56.8%.
Let me tell you, the other day I got absolutely run over by a really great Gruul deck. I was so impressed by it.
You got grilled?
I got Gruuled like big time. And this wasn't a best of 3, and I think that they 2-0'd me like cleanly.
Wow. Okay.
Because their deck was just like it was busted. It was like and it wasn't a bunch of rares or anything. It was just sort of like here's some big old creatures, and
Deal
then the adventure trick that gives a creature double strike.
Oof.
That was also how I found out that the 1 in a green adventure that just puts a monster roll on a creature is an instant.
Yes. Yeah. Some of these cards, like we said last episode, beware what is a sorcery and what is an instant as far as adventures are concerned. And that one is the number one that I thought was a sorcery. That's an instant.
I absolutely thought that was a sorcery. And that was the game where like they just like instant speed put it on a creature and killed me.
And you're like, what?
By giving it trample. And I was like,
yeah. Okay.
Well, did not know. I simply did not know.
So those color decks are what I'm going to put in kind of like one tier.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Boros, Golgari, Rakdos, and Gruul is like tier S. Okay. or I mean like Boros and Gruul and Golgari are really tier S. So those whole decks are tier A. Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, we have a bit of a fall off, which is our next best deck is Celestia green white at 54.5%. So that's a bit of a drop from 56.8.
You know, and I drafted Celestia once so far, and I was just not, and it felt like it felt like a solid version of the deck, and it still just kind of felt like
meh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I drafted a really sweet Celestia deck. I was very excited. I had the Archon that makes everything 4/4s that's got, a roll on it or whatever, and it still wasn't good enough. 54.5%. For Celestia. After Celestia, we've got 54% for Is It, which is one that you guessed earlier. So, not doing great, but 54, okay. And then we've got 53.8% for Orzhov, white black.
I think that is a little surprising to me.
Did you think it was good or bad?
I think I might have guessed. I think I would have guessed it being a little better.
Sure. I think I would have as well.
But
It's interesting because Boros here in red white is so head and shoulders above Orzhov. And they both have white, and black is a good color in this set, but red is just that much better.
Like, I think that's what I would have guessed, is that black is seems like such a good color in this set. Yeah. That I would have been like, oh, Orzhov should be higher just by virtue of that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That's Orzhov 53.8. Then we've got Dimir coming in at 53.6, which is what I was initially. I had talked to Meghan like a few days ago, and I was like, I've got some data that's going to surprise you. And at the time, Dimir was the worst performing color pair. And I was like, I am shocked by that. Absolutely stunned, speechless, because Dimir is fairies here in Wilds of Eldraine. The thing that everybody wanted to draft, just like ninjas in Kamigawa. Here we are with fairies. Once again, we're very excited. We've got friggin' Bitter Blossom in the set. And then at the time, it was the worst deck. I was like, no, don't do me like that, Wizards of the Coast.
And
it's second worst.
Yeah. And do you know what? I will say that
third worst. I'm sorry, Simic, second worst.
It's so unfortunate, but also I've played against a couple of fairies decks that seemed like good versions of the deck, right? Like they had good cards, and I still ended up winning those matches.
Right, exactly. You can do everything right and still lose. Kobayashi Maru situation here.
Like that's what it feels like with fairies. It's like, sometimes even if you have the best one, it's like just not enough. Those creatures are not big. And there's some big creatures in this set.
There are some huge creatures in green that you just put it down and you're like, well, I sure hope you have some of those fairy tap cards in hand, because this big fatty's not going to get, it's just going to sit here blocking and attacking all day. Yep. Especially if you manage to give it reach. And then we already mentioned Simic as second worst at 52.1%. And then the worst, Azorius, at 50.6%. Yeah.
I will say I did just play a Simic deck that I 2-1'd with that I did have a lot of fun playing. It definitely feels better than it has in past formats.
Well, it's not the worst, so we got that.
I'm not saying it's stellar, but I had a really good time with the deck.
I mean, that's what's most important, right? Are you having a good time doing the thing your deck wants to do? Is basically my measure of how successful color pair is in a format. And these results, are, we're not dipping below 50. So
no, that's at least something.
I'll say that we've dipped below 50 in other sets, but an 8-point spread is probably not where Wizards wants to be with a draft format.
Nope.
I will say that I wanted to look at 2 color plus a splash just briefly as well, because I see a lot of people splashing a lot in this format because it's easy to do. There's a lot of ways to fix your mana, and that Boros with a splash is actually better performing than Boros alone.
Wild.
That is another shocking data point right there.
Very much so.
Boros, you're not supposed to splash in Boros. You're supposed to turn your creature sideways and kill your opponent. You're not going to mess around with your third color.
Yeah, I feel like the splash has got to be, like, it doesn't say here what it is, but I feel like those splashes are most often going to be black.
They're going to be black. That's what I think. Yep, 59.0% if you're playing Boros and splashing. So,
wow. Okay, Maria, I'm now looking at these top 10 best comments.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, so we quizzed Meghan earlier about what are the 2 colors represented among our top 10 comments, and they are red and black, as you may have figured out at this point in the podcast.
Yes.
There's only 2 colors, everybody. Just 2. Congratulations, everybody. We've got black and red, and they are doing just fine. Thank you very much.
This first one is very unsurprising to me. The top comment.
Yeah, torch the tower, everybody.
Yep. This is the single red instant. It deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If it was bargained, instead it deals 3 to that permanent, and you scry 1. And it exiles the thing if it would die this turn.
So good.
It's like it's an absurd card. It's very, very good.
I love this card. It's just shock.
Yep.
That's better.
Yep, exactly. It's shock, but it is exactly that. It's shock, but better. It's shock that's sometimes lightning bolt.
Yeah, exactly. It's sometimes bolt. Shock, but sometimes it can be bolt, and usually is bolt. Quite honestly, for a single red mana, why wouldn't that be number 1 common in the format? Honestly, with a 60.8% game in hand win rate.
Yep.
If you draw it, you have a 60% chance of winning the game.
Right behind it is Candy Grapple.
Yeah, this card's a house.
Also, this is just still one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, me too. I love
the
this
art
card.
is a caramel apple biting someone. I really love it.
I just can't wait for this to happen to me next month. I'm here.
You're ready to
it.
get bit by a caramel apple?
Yeah, I'm here for it. Take a chunk out of my arm, little buddy. You're very cute. Candy Grapple, 1 and a black, instant bargain. Yeah, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. If you bargain it, can get -5/-5 until end of turn instead.
Absolutely absurd.
Kills most everything you ever cared about in your life. So what else do you want? Candy Grapple coming in number 2, best common in the set.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, we're going back to red for Cut In. 3 in a red for a sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature, and then you create a young hero role token attached to up to 1 target creature you control.
Yeah. You know what? That sure is 3 pieces of removal as the top 3 cards.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we're not done, by the way.
No, we are not, because the next one is Flick a Coin.
2 in a red, instant, deals 1 damage to any target. You create a treasure token, draw a card.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an absurd card. It does so many things. Make a treasure, deal a damage, instant speed, draw a card. Yep. So I'm here for Flick a Coin. I really, really like this card. Super strong. All right. We're finally out of removal spells by the time we hit number 5 here.
Although we still have not yet reached a creature, because this is Hopeless Nightmare.
Haven't you heard? Creatures suck, right?
Do you know what? I could not agree more.
This is single black, Hopeless Nightmare. For an enchantment, when it enters the battlefield, your opponent discards a card, loses 2 life. And when it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you scry 2, and you can pay 2 and a black to sacrifice it.
Oh my goodness. The art on this is like really amazing and also very creepy.
Yeah, I really like it. Somebody's like bent over backwards with like smoke escaping from their brain.
Yeah, and there are eyes that are spiders.
Spider eyes. There's spider eyes in this
There
art.
are spider eyes just kind of all around.
Somehow didn't win Gross' card though, you know?
Wow, you know what? I'm do you know what? I still maintain that. It's like prettier. It's too pretty.
Yeah, it's artistic spider eyes. Spider eyes, but make it fine art.
Oh,
here
so
in
nice.
Hopeless.
Oh, look at this. I call this piece Spider Eyes.
This is by Dominic Mayer, who has done some real bangers recently. So that explains everything to me. Yeah, this card's good. I would never have guessed it was in the top 10.
No.
Especially when you had just shown me the set without any context.
Yeah, actually, I will say at the start, I obviously would not have. I am unsurprised now to see it in the top 10.
Correct.
Like
correct.
someone casting this against you feels bad.
It is a pretty big swing to discard a card and lose 2 life, and then to give them a scry 2, especially when they build a deck that wants to be putting things like this into the graveyard anyway to get a bonus. Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
Next,
we're still not going to hit a creature though.
Nope, because the next up is Rat Out. one of the best card names, maybe in ever.
And by the way, I mean it kind of is half a creature.
Yeah, it is. It is 1/2 a creature because it is a single black for an instant. Up to 1 target creature gets up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. You create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't block.
Great. This card's very good.
Yes.
It's a good trick, everybody.
I love the rat.
The rat is great. And giving something -1/-1. So you're going to win the combat. I mean, ideally right here. You're winning the combat with this trick, and then you're making a creature out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Great.
That counts for me. All right, we finally hit our first creature here in our top 10 list, everybody.
Wow. This is so unsurprising to me. This is Sweet Tooth Witch. 2 and a black for a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you create a food, and it has 2 sacrifice a food. Target player loses 2 life. AKA, this is just the better 1/3.
Yes.
Do you remember Wilds of Eldraine? It had a 1/3 for 2 and a black witch that did the same thing, except you had to pay.
Eldraine?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
You had to pay 2 and tap it, and sacrifice a food to have a player lose 2 life. This one you don't even have to tap it.
Yeah, and that was a good card. Like, you played that card.
Exactly. That card was good. You played, there were some decks that were about just playing that card.
Well, now I think there's some decks that were just about playing this card. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, this card is very, very good and well deserving of its spot here on our top 10 list. What number is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She comes in at number 7.
The first creature.
First creature. Now we're going to get a red creature here coming in at number 8. It's Ratcatcher Trainee. This is 1 in red for 2/1. As long as it's your turn, it has first strike. It also has an adventure for 2 in a red instant. Create 2 1/1 black rat creature tokens with this creature can't block. This card is a house.
It's so good. Those rats are good. This card is good.
Do you know how hard it is to block this creature?
It's very hard to block this creature.
It's hard to block this stupid creature. And then you have your dumb rats.
Yeah. Also, I just love that this rat catcher is bad at her job.
Why is she bad? Because they're like,
there are more rats that have caught her than she has caught.
Okay, yeah. I thought she was like just taking them along for the ride, but I guess if you're catching something.
Yeah. No, I think that she's like, oh, look, I finally caught 1 rat. And these 2 rats are just like, we're right here.
We caught you, lady.
Exactly. Who caught who?
Coming in at number 9, we've got a dog. So we've got a rat catcher, a witch, and a dog here. An Edgewall pack for 3 in a red, 3/3 dog with menace. And guess what? It brings a rat.
He have rat friend.
He come with rat friend.
I think that this rat is in charge.
Of this animal street gang. I agree.
Look, do you see this rat is literally like pointing at the dog, telling him what to do.
This rat is riding on this dog's back.
Yeah.
Dream. #goals.
Also, Lord Skinner is in charge of this town. This says, the flavor text is, the mayor sent hounds to root out Lord Skinner, but their loyalty was easily bought with a handful of bones.
Where are they getting those bones? That's what I want to know.
Maria, no, you don't want to know is the thing. You don't want to know.
There's a common note amongst all of these creatures who are on our top 10 list.
A rat?
Well, Sweet Tooth Witch didn't have a rat.
She not rat.
We've got one last one, and then we're going to try and guess what it was. Minstrosity is number 10. 1 in a black for 3/1. When it dies, make a food token.
They make token.
They all make a token.
They all make token.
You're getting a value out of each one of these creatures. Yeah,
Or,
they're
as
so
we say
strong.
on Good Luck High Five, you're getting so much card for your card.
You're getting a lot of card for your card.
A
In
lot
some
of
these
card for
cases,
card here.
You're getting more than a card for your card, you know?
So much card for card.
That's our top 10 commons, everybody. Monstrosity rounding out the pack here with a game in hand win rate of 58%. Torch the Tower again with 60.8. So we have a pretty good high number for all of those on the top 10 list. We don't hit a green card until number 11, which is Hamlet Glutton. That's that big 6/6.
That makes a lot of sense. That card is also a house.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. But I was shocked when I found out that there's only 2 colors represented in the top 10.
Yep.
And we're getting a clear
Gasp.
picture of what you want to do. All of these cards, very cheap, right? None of them cost more than 4 is the highest number here. And that one's kind of the outlier down at the bottom.
And there's the first 4 are removal.
Yep. Cheap removal, cheap creatures. It's a fast format. Red and black cards are good. There's your picture of what the format is looking like, everybody.
Get those creatures out of here.
And now we're just going to mention briefly the top 5 commons in each color. Some of these we will have said all of them before because of our top 10 list. In white, the top 5 are Hopeful Vigil, Cooped Up, Archon's Glory, Stockpiling Celebrant, and Besotted Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I love Hopeful Vigil, and indeed that is number 12 on the list.
It is quite good.
Top commons. That makes you the knight, and then it goes to your graveyard and you get to scry 2. So that's not surprising to me.
Blue is Into the Fey Court, Spell Stutter, Johan's Stopgap, Sleight of Hand, and Balluna's Gatekeeper.
You know what? I'm not impressed by any of these cards.
No, exactly. Nope.
That's just what I just looked at. You just said this list, and I'm like, who cares?
I cannot believe that the best card in blue is a 5-mana sorcery.
So bad. It's not even that good. You just draw cards and you make a 1/1. I thought you were gonna make like 3 1/1s or something.
I know. No,
Yeah, blue underwhelmed.
Black, all 5 of them are in the top 10.
Candy Grapple, Hopeless Nightmare, Rat Out, Sweet Tooth Witch, and Monstrosity.
Red, all 5 of them are in the top 10. Torch the Tower.
Cut in, Flick a Coin, Ratcatcher Trainee, Edgewall Pack.
And finally, we have green. These first 2, wildly unsurprising to me. These cards are both just so solid. I like them so much, which is Hamlet Glutton and Hollow Scavenger.
Yeah, really strong.
Then we've got Leaping Ambush, Ferocious Werefox, and Brave the Wilds.
Yeah, Leaping Ambush coming in there at number 3, performing really well. That's the +1/+3. Untap it, I think.
Reach. Yeah,
Reach. Yeah, it's important. And so, so that's what's topping in green, the top 5 commons.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm really happy we did this episode and we dove into this segment because the Arena Open's coming up, everybody. And while Sealed might be a little slower than Draft just on practice, that's what it normally is, it's still fast, taking a look at the speed of the format. So just FYI, don't let yourself get run over. Make sure, if you can, that you are the one doing the running over, or you're playing a lot of really good green creatures and some good black removal, because that's how to kind of slow things down a little bit if you want to in this set. Well, everybody, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Jason for being an awesome patron, everybody.
That's right. Thank you all so much for supporting this podcast, for supporting everything we do, for supporting Skellingtons.
I'm playing with my Skellingtons again over here. Look at this green one, everyone. This was 3D printed in my home. Can you believe it? Already articulated like this.
Yeah, that's super cool.
I'm just so impressed by this Skellington. Here, you can hear him again. Thank you so much, Jason. If you want to be the next Jason, you can star on the next Friday the 13th, or you can become a patron, which is a lot easier, honestly.
Yep.
Patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Thank you as well to our sponsor, Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Head over there for all wilds of Eldraine that you need.
And next week, we're going to be getting you ready for the World Championship coming up next weekend. Yeah. Not this weekend, next weekend in Vegas, everybody. Very exciting. We're going to be there working the World Championship.
Yeah, cannot believe that it is happening already.
I know. Meghan told me and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
time sneaks up on you. Time is a train that moves in one direction, but it's a sneaky train.
Yeah.
A very, very sneaky train.
A very, very sneaky train. Impressive.
Happy 5th birthday to Magic Arena this month and 30th birthday to the X-Files, by the way.
Right.
You both are so important in our lives for different reasons.